Hey everyone, it's Danielle Taylor with Keller Williams Realty here on the beautiful Outer Banks. And today is Stats Day! And honestly, I feel like I just did the last one. However, we are now well beyond the entire first quarter of 2026. Time is absolutely flying. As always, all data today is courtesy of the Outer Banks Association of Realtors through April 30th, 2026. And if you're new here, the data set we're talking about is single-family residential properties for all of Dare County and Corolla, including four-wheel drive. So let's jump into what's happening in the OBX market right now because there's actually some really interesting trends developing. First up, unit sales. Single-family home sales are currently down about 6.7% year-to-date compared to 2025. But before everybody panics and starts yelling, the market is crashing, let's zoom in a little bit closer. April sales were actually up 13% compared to April of last year, and up 22% compared to March of this year. So what does that tell me? It tells me buyers are still very much active in the market. We're seeing more selective behavior and probably a little hesitation earlier in the year while people wait to see the interest rates and economy and what's developing. But when the right property hits the market, buyers are moving fast. How do I know this? 29% of the homes sold year to date sold in 14 days or less. Let that sink in. Now let's talk inventory because this is probably one of the biggest stories right now. New listing inventory year to date is up about 2.5% compared to last year. April specifically was even stronger, up 13.3% over April 25 and up 22% over March. So yes, we are definitely seeing more homes hit the market this spring. But here's something really important. About 16% of those new listings are actually expired or withdrawn properties that have relisted in the last 90 days. That matters because technically inventory is growing, but not all inventory is fresh inventory. And here's the other side of that story. 31.2% of the properties listed in April are already under contract or sold with an average days on market of 4. So while absolutely buyers have more choices than they did during those crazy pandemic years, desirable homes that are priced correctly are still moving incredibly quickly. That's such an important takeaway right now. Months of supply. So overall inventory currently sits at 6.4 months of supply. Now remember, real estate is hyper local here on the Outer Banks. Nags Head's different from Duck. Duck is different than Corolla. Corolla Oceanside is different than Corolla Westside. And investment property behavior is different than primary home behavior. So averages only tell part of the story. If you really want to know what's happening in your specific area or your specific price point, definitely reach out because the details matter right now more than ever. Now let's talk pricing. The median residential sale price year to date through April is $700,000, which is down just 1% compared to 2025. Honestly, that's pretty stable, especially considering how much appreciation we've seen over the last few years. And to put this into perspective, I thought this was an interesting stat. The median year-to-date sold price this time 2020 was $389,750, about half of where we are today. Meanwhile, the median list price for under contract homes is $772,000 and active listings are sitting at about $779,000. So buyers are still shopping and writing offers, but sellers have definitely having to compete more to strategically position than they did a few years ago. Sold to list ratio. The median sold to list ratio is 97.8%, which is flat year over year. In translation, most sellers are still getting very close to asking price. but pricing correctly out of the gate matters a lot more now. And we're seeing that show up very clearly in price reduction data. This is honestly one of the most fascinating parts of the market right now. Year to date, 36.6% of sold properties had a price reduction before selling, and 40.4% of under contract properties had a price reduction, and 45% of active listings have already had a price reduction. That's almost half of the active market. But, and this is important, a price reduction itself is not necessarily the problem. The timing and strategy behind it matter. Here's the kicker. Properties with a price reduction ended up selling at 99.3% of their final list price. Sounds good, right? But only 93.2% of their original list price. And when you stretch that across the actual dollars, the median sold price for homes with a price reduction was $670,000. Without a price reduction, $710,000. That's roughly 6% difference, plus significantly longer days on market, plus extra carrying costs, plus stress. So this is why pricing strategically matters so much in today's market. I feel like I'm a broken record. Sometimes testing the market can actually cost sellers more in the long run. Finally, days on market. Average days on market for sold homes sits at about 67 compared to 75 last year, which honestly surprises me a little bit because it's actually improved. Under contract homes are averaging about 73 days and active listings 101 days on average. That gap tells us something really important. The homes that are selling are the ones that are priced correctly, positioned correctly, and showing well. The market is rewarding the best listings. So overall, here's my takeaway. The Outer Banks market is not crashing or collapsing. It's normalizing. Buyers have more choices. Sellers have more competition. And strategy matters more than it has in years. The really good homes, they are going to move quickly. The overpriced and underprepared homes are gonna sit. And honestly, that's probably a healthier market in the long term. So if you have questions about your specific area, your home value, investment property performance, whether it's a good time to buy or sell here on the Outer Banks, I'd love to help. And if you enjoy these stats updates, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow along so you get all of the updates, because I'll keep breaking it down and really pointing out what matters in the OBX market without all the national headline drama. Also, make sure you visit obxsandbarliving.com and subscribe to our monthly newsletter, because that has even more stats and much more information about what's going on locally. So thanks again for watching, and remember, there's no better living than Sandbar living.